Hey, good morning. It's episode 300 of Musings. I'm here by myself right now, waiting on to see if Scott's going to join. I haven't heard from him yet this morning, so we'll see. Oh, camera's falling. Camera's falling. Ah. This happens. I get this stand here, and it just wants to mess around. Oh, there we go. Now you can see my ceiling. So let's fix that again. I don't know why else decided just to start moving on its own. So there we go. Yep. I guess we'll try that one. Hey, how's everybody doing today? All you guys joining in here. Like I said, I'm not sure where Scott's at. Hopefully he'll join us. If not, he may be busy with work, and that does happen. And work does take precedence over our podcast. So definitely hope he's doing all right. He'll join us soon here. But I'm going to get it started. Knock off a quick ad read here. We've got Loringer Family Chiropractic Center PC located in Belleville, Michigan and Dexter, Michigan. They take great pride in providing the finest chiropractic care to each and every patient, offering on-site digital x-rays, massage therapy, which actually, a little note, that is some things are going to be changing around the massage therapy. They're going to be going into more of a rehab style thing, and announcements I'll have for you guys once they come up with it. But they offer other quite things like young women essential oils, aromatherapy, all in a family-oriented environment. Give them a call, 734-697-4244. And you can always visit them online at Loringer Family Chiropractic Center PC on Facebook. Hey, Scott.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Wasn't sure if you were busy with work or not, so I decided to get started at 10 o'clock.
No, good call. Yeah, it was just got did you finish with Loringer?
I got a couple of things. They're making some changes, which I can't make full announcements yet, but they told me about them yesterday.
Oh,
not in detail, but the world of chiropractic is changing at Loringer's. They're still going to be doing chiropractic. They're not going to be offering massage therapy though, starting sometime around May, maybe into June. They're switching over to more of a rehab thing, and part of it is just the amount of staff they have, as well as they have a new medical side coming in that's allowed through the government now. So they're going to have a nurse working with them, and it's stuff that's going to tie into the chiropractic care. So it's a lot of interesting changes, and hopefully we'll try to get maybe Dr. Corinne to pop on at some point to talk about them once they get those implemented in the next couple months here. So a lot of cool stuff going on. So, I mean, chiropractic care is itself staying the same. It's just certain things that are going to be offered that are going to enhance that capability. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. I'm pulling up. We have a brand new listing for Teen Titans here. So I am pulling it up right now so I could actually share it.
Okay.
Let's see here. Need that.
Trying to adjust that. My camera slipped and did this thing again. It's just need to get a new stand for it.
All right, here we go. Teen Titans Real Estate. Why? Because you matter. That's right. Even though we utilize the latest in tools and technology to maximize your home buying experience, we never forget at its core, it's a people business. And we treat all of our clients in the same manner. We really focus on your needs and custom tailor a plan to fit that. This particular house here, this is up in Armada, Michigan. It's 35-mile Romeo Plank, right around the corner actually from Blake's Orchard Farm, listed for $570,000. It's technically what's called coming soon, which means we can begin advertising for it. It's in the MLS, but showings don't begin until this Friday. So we're doing an open house this Saturday from noon to 2 on this. But it's 10 acres of land. The house is 2,100 square feet. It's got a 2,100 square foot pole barn. You can see it's a great property here. It's got, in the center of the screen here, you see the house. And then a little bit to the right is a pole barn, 2,100 square foot. It's got like 15, 20-foot high ceilings in there. It's really nice, great condition. And then there's another outbuilding out there, roughly 400 square feet, about the size of a 2-car garage. But that one does not have electricity or a cement slab. That's on dirt ground, but a lot of storage in there. But the pole barn does have a cement slab. So give us a call. 3 bedrooms, 3 full baths, 10 acres, like I said, and just minutes from downtown Romeo, Blake's Orchard Farm. There's a Metro Park right around the corner as well. So it's a great property. Give us a call, 586-232-5144 to start getting showing scheduled.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. It looks like a nice little property there.
Yeah, it's very well maintained. It does need some updates if you have got a more modern taste as far as decor, but the homeowners have been there a long time. The house was built in 1989, and they've they take very good care of everything. So the updates you do want to do, you can take your time in doing them. It doesn't all have to be done right away.
Fantastic.
Yeah, good stuff. But yeah, so I've been busy with that. We've already been getting sign calls on the house, which have been opening up opportunities for other clients. So we had some appointments last night with clients. So that just kept me really busy all the way up to right now to do this. So, but that's a good problem to have.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, I worked through my normal weekend, so I had yesterday and today off, and tomorrow off, and working on stuff. Been working to get to digitally ink and color some pages I have done for my book, and I still got more to draw, but I figured I need to get some of that going too. And
Oh, nice.
so when I'm not drawing, I'm going to start getting all that stuff. There's been a lot of scanning going on because I still initially draw everything on paper
Mm-hmm.
and then have to scan from there. I not mastered the art of starting to draw right on the digital screens and everything else, but I can use it for inking and coloring pretty good. So that'd be
Yeah,
fun.
when I started that process, it took a solid year, but maybe even a year and a half before I really started feeling comfortable. Because once you get comfortable with it, it's fine. It's like working on paper, but it is a process to get used to it. It's not the same. So it just takes time and practice. But there is something about still using paper that's just satisfying. That's why I like drawing when I'm at Comic Cons,
Mm-hmm.
because it keeps you grounded. Something about feeling that paper underneath your hand.
Well, I've been telling people, so you see a lot of younger artists at the Comic Cons. They have their iPads with them. They
Mhm.
draw only on that. Everything they do is it's funny. It's because for years I've heard, oh, is this digital art? Well, no, it's mixed media is what actually my stuff would be, because I do pencils. Then a lot of times I'll even ink and then scan in to do the colors. Where a lot of young people, that's strictly 100% digital.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is it takes away the fact they don't have an original drawing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's ways of, you could say, okay, I can just print out my lines and then ink those, and that's an original. But a lot of people want those original pencils. They want to see pencil on paper, and
Yeah.
they want to see that original drawing. And that's, a lot of people got away from that, and so they don't have originals they could sell. So they're selling prints for $10, but they should, if they had an
Yeah.
original drawing, if they learned to do that more again, they could have some of those they could sell for hundreds.
Yeah. Well, and even if you're an up and coming artist and you're not even interested in selling your work,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot like math. It's important to know how to do math without a calculator when you're learning. Once you know all the tools and you have the skills, using a calculator, it's a tool to help you do it faster. But you
Yeah.
still know the basics. And if you come across something and you don't have a calculator, you can still do it. That's how drawing is. It's the more you do it freehand on paper and practice, build those hand-eye coordination muscles, the better you will be. And then the tablet becomes a true tool to assist you. But the better you are at drawing, the faster you'll work on the tablet too, because there's less things that you have to delete or backspace or cut and paste. You'll have that foundation underneath you, and it's a true tool instead of a crutch. If you spend your whole life drawing digitally and don't learn the foundations by yourself, you won't grow as much as you could. The other thing too is there is something to be said about not being able to delete. Sometimes Bob Ross, the happy accidents. There's been many times in pieces where in the process of creating, I do something I didn't want. And it's like, oh, how do I incorporate this error into the piece? And in the process, it actually became better because the error, it forced me to think some outside the box. So there's a lot of benefits, especially if you're a young and upcoming artist.
Mm-hmm.
Buy some paper. Call our friends at Blue Line Pro. You can get the supplies, and just it's fun.
Yeah. So and so also why there's like things like sketch covers out there and stuff like that. So I mean, it's just different tools, and it's not belittling at all the digital 100% digital creations, because there's a lot of ways, especially if you're doing a book. I think in a lot of ways, if you like, I don't care about having original pages. I just want to get my book out, and you can do it 100% digital. Well, if you got a tablet, you can do everything pretty much on that. It's portable. You can do it anywhere. You don't have to be at home. You don't have to be at your drawing table, stuff like that. But just for, like I said, for practice and as well as for expanding your skills, And if you are somebody that does offer your work for sale, it's great to, because I noticed, like, even walk around San Diego, there's people that say, "Oh, I don't have it. Everything's done digital," and like people are like, "Oh, okay," but they don't buy anything. But then they find a guy that's got, "Oh yeah, I digitally finished everything, but here's all my original pencil drawings," and
Mhm.
people are like, "Oh," and that's what they're looking for is original artwork. It's just like buying a painting. You want an original painting versus a print of that painting if you can get it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think
So
unfortunately, I think a lot of consumers don't care as much as they used to. Like it used to be original art used to sell like crazy for me. Now people like to look at it, but they don't
I
it
think it's
feels
going to
like
come
they
back
don't
though.
buy as much. I hope so
I
because
think it, and
it's
it is.
fun.
I think it's going to be a little while yet. I think it's a lot more people I've noticed in the last since COVID and we started doing shows again. I've noticed a little more of the uptick of people questioning about do you have originals. So
That's good.
that's the start of it right there, and I liken it to what's happened in music collecting. People would say, okay, I buy all my CDs, and then everything's gone digital, and they're like, well, I can just get it all digital now. But then they realize that there's a lot of music files that are like, I really love music, and they've gone back
Yeah.
to vinyl.
Right.
Instead of going to say, I just want to get click CD, no, they're going all the way to vinyl. So the different musicians have picked up on that, and a majority of the stuff being made in vinyl, the musicians themselves are owning the companies. Jack
Jack
White here
White.
from Detroit,
Yep.
he owns his own press to do all his stuff, and he does stuff for other artists too.
Mhm.
Metallica, I just found out recently, they bought the place that was doing theirs because they wanted to control it as well as get it done faster. They didn't want to have to wait, so they
Yeah.
bought the company that makes their vinyl. So vinyl that went just about 10, 12 years ago, there was all these news things about vinyl's gone. The last vinyl places are getting ready to close. Has resurged so much because of the fact that people are like realizing of what they want. And in terms of it's really with vinyl, you get this different sound that they still cannot fully recreate digitally because it is digital. There's something about the physical of a needle touching the vinyl that
Mhm.
creates that sound that you could try to create it digitally. They come pretty close, but it takes away the natural aspect of what's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah. The when they're recording vinyl, it does pick up the natural acoustics of the room. It,
Yes.
it causes a different thing. Whereas with digital, you're the instruments wired straight to the machine, so it's not taking into account the acoustics and the vibe of what's happening
Well,
in the moment.
they
You
still
know,
record like they did before prior to digital. They do a lot of stuff straight in. But the problem with digital isn't so much the just they get just a direct feed and they don't get the room. It's capped finite because digital is all zeros and ones. Where analog, which is what a record is, has a wave. The wave fluctuates
right?
up and down, where the digital is more finite. So it's going to hit certain areas where certain sounds are going to get lost because they can't pick those up because of the
Right.
digital constraints. Regardless of how good we get digital, there's always going to be some slight constraint there, and that's
Right.
why even with the if you go look at some of the albums and that and hang out with Kevin a lot and we hit a bunch of record stores in different cities and that I've been looking at them and looking at myself. I would love to get into vinyl, but it's like a cost of going like, no, I don't want to I would get too much into it. And that's
Yeah.
like I don't need to start collecting yet another thing at this time, but I love it. Love the sound. And they go to higher grains, they go to wider grooves, and the wider groove actually adds more sound. And you can notice the difference in the recordings between you take the exact same song between the different pressings on what they call the grain and things like that, and how wide the grooves are. Wider the grooves, the larger the sound. And you actually pick up more of the background stuff that's just very minimal. You might actually hear like a horn in the background that was very minimal be a little more prominent than it would
Oh, very cool.
otherwise. So, as much as we heard about like stereo, like remember all the 5.1 was a big deal, stuff like that. It's getting that richer sound is what everybody's always been looking for, better sound, and definitely, I think like we've seen in vinyl in the comic community, we're going to start seeing more and more of what do you have original? Do you have any original paper pages? This is what I'm looking for. And it's going to help increase one, the quality work too, is I think it's also going to lead more credence to people like us who do a lot of independent work where people are going to say, hey, I can actually collect some of the pages from these guys when they have original stuff, or, we do an original cover and things like that. Like the covers being that we offer through the Kickstarters.
Mhm.
Especially the last one where there's original artwork that was available in that you're not going to get anywhere else.
Right.
So a lot of cool stuff out there. So yeah, so I'm back working on my book and trying to get that done, and I'd hope to have it done for Motor City. So we'll see. I don't know if I'll get all the way there, but I'm hoping to have at least pages to show off, and I can do a pre-order there.
Sweet.
So
That'll be nice.
yep. So
Very good.
yeah, so that's kind of what I've had going on this last week, and then yeah, it's just work.
Yeah.
It's spring break here in Michigan for a lot of school districts this week. I'm pretty sure all the school districts almost are on spring break. It's almost a statewide thing anymore.
I think ours was. I'm pretty sure the ones in this area were the week before.
Well, and some may have been different weeks. I know here in Washington County and parts of Wayne County, it's all spring break right now, and so things are not as busy on the shipped end as they would be otherwise because people are on vacation this last week or this week. And I did notice Mike DeSantis runs the Great Lakes Comic Expo. Him and his daughter are on a school trip to Japan, so during their spring break. So a lot going on around here in Michigan, and then we're getting warm up. It's getting some 60 degrees this week with some wind. They're talking about some thunderstorms and that on Friday, so we're starting to see that kick in now. And next week, talking 60 to 63 a couple days. So I think we're finally making that turn as we hit April and get ready to hit Easter in a week and a half.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I mean, overall, it was a mild winter for us.
Yep.
So I only really had one bad snowstorm this year that I had to shovel 3 times in one day. Other than that, everything else was just maybe once, and then the next day was going to be 50 degrees and melt it, so there wasn't much. So that was good. I'll take mild winters forever. I'll gladly take these.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I had to do some shoveling here and there, but I think you guys, because you're north of me, you guys got it a little more than I did in terms of snow. So we weren't too bad. I had just a couple times I had to really shovel, and then went to one big one about a month ago, whatever it was, and snow finally went away from the front yard because my front yard faces due north, so it doesn't get much sun. So even when it's like 50 degrees out, it's in the shade. So it still keeps it cold, so it melts slower than other stuff does. Like everything across the street's been gone for weeks. I had I last week, Friday for Saturday, I still had a little strip of snow towards the house. So, and it was finally gone as we hit this 50-degree rain. So, oh yeah. So what else is going on?
That's about it. And then just, what movies were there? Oh, I went and saw Shazam. I don't think we talked about me seeing Shazam.
No. I talked about it last week. So what was your take on it?
I enjoyed it. For me, this movie really puts a spotlight on the douchebaggery that is known as Dwayne Johnson. His ego is out of control. I used to like him, but he really, I think he saw a weakness in DC. I think he knew that there was going to be some changes coming, and I think he saw that as his chance to really try to become like the next Kevin Feige or something, where he really tried to really bully, from what I'm reading, his vision into this DC universe. And he refused to be part of the Shazam series, which is so stupid with the way Black Adam, that's like saying no Lex Luthor in Superman. I mean, it just makes no sense,
Yeah, well, if you did like a Lex Luthor movie, but never acknowledges Superman.
Yeah, right.
It's ridiculous. You can't do that.
It's ridiculous. They're tied together.
Yeah.
Their powers are the same. All this stuff. This movie, I think it weakened a little because of Dwayne Johnson. It would have been the perfect movie had they gone with the main storyline of Shazam 2, but instead of the daughters of Atlas, it would have been Black Adam potentially, or the daughters could have raised Black Adam, whatever. There were so many options. And then the power of the family of Shazam would have been what could turn Black Adam, remember his son and all this stuff. It would have fit perfectly.
Well, see, I think that using the daughters like they did, I think that was, I like that part. And like I said, they really could have incorporated in Black Adam, but instead of them going after the staff, they were trying to bring back Black Adam. They went and run him back that way, and then he was the protagonist, and Shazam had to defeat him, and he gets defeated and goes back to his home world, and then from there we could have the Black Adam movie and tie in Shazam.
That would have been perfect.
Hey Eric, how's it going, buddy?
Yeah, so
he's real quick. That's Eric's picture of him in front of, looks like the ride Epcot for Guardians of the Galaxy. If you slow,
it's blue.
Look at it's well, you can see the blue sky there. That's the ship for Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot.
I just see blue. I don't even see anything.
Right, his picture right there where it says Eric Williams. What's up, guys? You see it on the screen?
Are you talking about in the comments?
Yeah.
Or what you have on the screen?
What I have on the screen, yeah.
Mine is just blue.
Oh, well, you suck.
Yeah, it's just blue. It's
Well,
a blue box.
you need a better thing. Mine shows a picture. It's a lot of blue in there, but that's his blue shirt, and then there's the ship there. So,
Interesting. Yeah.
and then Kathy's wish list 300 podcasts, milestone. Yeah,
Yep.
it's
Today's
been great.
300. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
but
So,
yeah,
anyways, to
it's
wrap up Shazam,
yeah.
for me, as far as the DCEU movies go, I think it's my third favorite. I like Wonder Woman the best, the first Wonder Woman, not 1984. Probably the first Shazam second, and then Shazam 2, I think, is my third favorite.
I'd agree with that. I love the film. I thought it was great. I enjoyed it. It was exactly what these type of films should be. Is instead of trying to constantly, they were rushing so much into building this big universe of DC movies.
Mhm.
You needed movies like this it was kind of like Iron Man. The first Iron Man was just Iron Man. You have hints. You got Shazam in this one talking about different, people mentions like Aquaman, the Flash. Like, yeah, they're all out there, but they don't have to be a part of the story. It just shows they're all taking place on the same world. So,
right. And
so
then
if you haven't seen it, I'd say go see it because it crossed the $100 million mark worldwide, which is not a big feat or anything, but I think it's a good deal because of the fact that DC and Warner Brothers has not been promoting this film actively. They did initial stuff and then they've dropped any advertisements on it as soon as it came out.
I think I read it has to hit 600 million to break even because they have 300 million in costs between production and advertising.
Yeah,
so
well,
they have to do double that in sales because the theaters get a cut.
Yeah, I think the 600 million was or 300 million they put into it. Majority of that went to people's pockets more than actual production. The production was good, but it looked more like 120.
Well, that was including but that was including the marketing costs. They said.
So they spent
distribution.
Well, if you heard what I said it looked like $120 million movie, which is not bad. But so they spent $180 million on marketing and everything else. I don't believe it. I believe they pocketed some of that themselves.
Oh, could have been. Yeah, for sure.
Because they didn't care. So
they probably spent that money to buy Black Adam tickets to pump up those sales.
That's probably what it was. Because remember, Black Adam was like the big one for a while, and it's like, where's people seeing all this? And and then it died. And I know they were doing that, trying to build it up, but of course, then around the time they announced that we're not going to continue on with this, then it all stopped.
Right.
So you can see where they were going with that. So
yeah. So, anyways, the actress who plays Mary Marvel.
Yeah.
So the oldest
it's Mary, but no last name because
they don't call
you can't call them the Marvels. No, remember they kept going around about the name, and they couldn't say Marvels. They hinted at it a bunch of times, and then it was like that's why they were the fiasco, the Philly fiascos and things like that. And then finally at the end he goes, "Well, what is my name?" It's Shazam, because they can't call him Captain Marvel anymore because of all the lawsuits 40 years ago.
Right. But anyways, the actress who plays Mary Marvel or whatever they call her in this is, I guess she's putting out there, she wouldn't mind doing a solo movie focusing on her trying to balance college because she's going away to college with superhero life. And that would be a very Spider-Man-ish type theme,
See, that would have been a great thing to do as a series on HBO, tying into the movies. Kind of like what Disney Plus
great
does.
Streaming series.
Yeah. I would have watched that, as long as it's done well. It's she was really good. I like the aspect of what they did with the character. They grew her up, so instead of having a separate superhero actress, they kept her, and it made sense. As you hit a certain age, eventually you become that superhero. So I liked it. Yep. So that was pretty good. I did watch a series this past week. It was something I like to find something to watch at night after I'm home when I don't want to do anything and I'm getting ready to go to bed, especially after working all day long and I'm wiped out. So I watched The Night Agent. It's a 10-episode series on Netflix. Came out last week, actually. I didn't mean to zip through this fast, but I got to the end of yesterday. I was like, I'll watch the last couple episodes. Not bad. In some ways, they try to and not really make him a Jason Bourne other than the look and a couple things he does here and there. But he's a agent with the FBI. He ends up working what they call the night agent desk at the White House, and he gets a call, and this girl calls him, and it's her aunt and uncle gave her the number to call, and they're basically being attacked. That they're spies, and someone's coming to kill them. And it starts off this whole intrigue through the whole thing. It's kind of predictable in a lot of ways. You kind of figure out who's involved. You suspect somebody, and sometimes you're wondering, is that person involved? This person involved, and it becomes a little more predictable and was a little drawn out at 10 episodes. Could have been like 7 or 8 and been a little tighter, but still wasn't bad. I never felt bored through it. And you get to between the 6th and 7th episode, you're kind of like, okay, I just want to finish this off and see how they end it. And it was fun. It was a fun little romp through. It's not in my opinion, a rewatchable series. I'm not going to say, oh, I want to watch it again. It was so good. It was just enjoyable for what it was. And very predictable in a couple of things they did. But if you're looking for something to watch and there's nothing really to watch, I would say watch The Night Agent.
Okay, cool. I can't think of what else I've watched other than there was, Mandalorian and Bad Batch. I did get caught up on Bad Batch, watch those other 2 episodes there. So really loved the last episode.
Did you watch today's?
Not yet.
Okay.
So today's was just I'm guessing they're moving forward with that storyline though with Crosshair.
Today is a 2-episode finale.
Oh, that's right.
So it sets up the cliffhanger for the end of the season, like they like to do here, because there's another season coming sometime in the future, and then Mandalorian is continuing on their story. So, but we can talk about the last week's episode because last week's we can do Bad Batch.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see what was. I think which Bad Batch last week.
So last week was they were kind of living their life on that island, on that planet, and they're helping rebuild after the tsunami.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, Crosshair is on. We find out he's in prison. A lot of the clones are being detained and shipped off for some unknown reason to unknown locations, and seems like Crosshair's had a change of heart because he sends out a warning to the Bad Batch.
Right, and then we've got a return of Echo. Echo returns.
Yep. Echo returns. And we find out that the Empire is definitely looking for Omega. That's who they're interested in for their experiments with the clones.
Yeah, we're finding out a little more of what they're trying to do, and that's a lot of this episode is a lot of setup to take us to the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And we're learning more about what Hemlock's plans are exactly. He's interested in Omega, as well as they're tying more in with Grand Moff Tarkin. So we have Echo and Rex are trying to free clones. So it's kind of really more of the dealing what's going with the clone story on this.
Right.
And then you also find out the Crosshair's been captured. So
yes.
So it was a good episode. If you hadn't seen it yet, it's definitely one that you can watch that and go right into these last 2, and it all kind of plays out together. So,
yeah, I like where they're going with it. That's been a lot of fun, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the finale there.
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
And then we got to wait a year
or more. Jeez. Well, it was about a year and almost a half.
Was it that long?
I'm just hoping that with all the cuts, they don't cut. I don't think they will because these seem to be doing well. So it's just a matter of when they're going to actually do season 3. So, let me see. I was looking here. First season launched on May 4th of 2021, so almost 2 years ago, and ran for 16 episodes. And then it was about a year and a half later. So if it's in the same time frame, we'll be looking at probably May or June of next year.
Okay.
So
speaking of potential Star Wars cuts, it sounds like it was confirmed the Rian Johnson movie is officially done.
Yeah, we reported that a long time ago.
Well, we talked about it, but they kept trying to act like, well, no, it's
well, the thing was that
back burner.
Star Wars and them they announced they said, hey, all this stuff is on hold, nothing's going forward, not doing anything. So at that point it's usually it's canceled.
Right.
All it was is all these stupid articles kept posting stuff saying, oh no, they're still talking about stuff. But when you read it, there's no information. It's like it was all clickbait. It was all these people that just wished, oh, I loved how he destroyed Star Wars, I wanted to destroy it more crap. And
but from the article it sounds like Lucasfilm has officially confirmed it, is what it sounded like to me, that it's not happening. So they finally.
Well, that was it wasn't like a Variety or something like that. When Variety posts it,
right?
That's the industry journal. That's what everybody goes towards. The Hollywood Reporter and Variety. Those 2 things posted, it's legit because they actually have always had the insight into that. Before that, it was an actual Star Wars release they talked about, and unfortunately with Rian Johnson, it also confirms that Patty Jenkins' project is on hold indefinitely and most likely canceled. They really have nothing in the actual works right now. Although they're still trying to insinuate like Taika Waititi is going to get his movie. Um, I don't see that happening either because I think right now it's Bob Iger has been really cutting everything everywhere, and they're restructuring everything.
I think the only certainty right now is anything Filoni is attached to is moving forward, probably because his stuff is actually working.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I think everything we're seeing in Mandalorian, I think is also, and even a Bad Batch stuff in the Bad Batch. A lot of this stuff is all leading to what's going to happen in the Ahsoka series. I think we're going to see more hints within that. It's all information to kind of get going to eventually move Star Wars forward, and I think that's what Filoni and Favreau are doing is they're building a foundation to surpass what the sequels did, and just continue on and telling good stories.
right.
So,
For sure.
yeah,
Good stuff. So, should we get into the Mandalorian? Oh, there's Jill in the background.
Hi, Jill.
Brett said hi.
She's like, I gotta fix the TV. I have to watch my shows. So it's yeah. Let's talk about the Mandalorian here. I didn't have an image to bring up. Let me see. Here's one. Yeah, that'll work. So last week's episode, we got it was a good episode. I enjoyed. I mean, we haven't enjoyed every episode so far. So it's funny. I'm reading people that I see posts on like Facebook and that, and it's like people are trying to trash Mandalorian. I'm going, this is some good stuff. They're like, oh, I only cared about the one action sequence. Everything else sucks. It's like there is a lot of story being built in here for this show here. So last week we had this is one where they had to go rescue the foundling from the giant bird.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was a remake of the what was it? The Rudolph New Year story. You know, they had to go say happy.
Was that New Year baby. Island of Misfit Toys?
No, that was the New Year baby.
Oh, okay.
You know, with the giant condor trying to, Eon that's trying to live forever. But if the New Year happens again, no. And I laughed because that's what I felt when I first saw it. But it was a good episode. So they basically this world they're on. There's besides giant alligators are giant eagles. And it came down and snatched up one of the younglings. So, of course, a bunch of the Mandalorians take off on jetpacks, and they all run out of fuel before they can catch it. But, of course, we got Bo-Katan follows up with her ship, and she finds out where the creature is at. I think my only complaint on this is that the time frame. They spent too much time before they actually rescued the kid.
Yeah, that was my only complaint, too. The story itself I really enjoyed. I just felt they needed to compress the time frame because I mean, from the way they told it sounds like the kid was sitting inside the bird for like a day and a half or so, which he wouldn't have survived.
Yeah, and they went until the mom decided to feed them to the babies, and then now the one story we did get I liked out of this was the flashback story. We had a Grogu flashback on when he was rescued by Ahmed Best as a Jedi. He's best known as Jar Jar Binks. So he got to actually play a hero in this, and hopefully, everybody seems to really liked him on that. I always thought the hatred for Jar Jar was a little too much. I mean, I understood, the annoyance stuff like that, but it was, it was never meant to be the central focal. But he was definitely the comedy relief for the episode 1 before it would have been like the droids,
right?
But it's nice to see him because he really, as a actor. It was funny. People are just stupid. It's like he played a role. It's not him that did the role other than acting it, and they wanted to blame him personally for Jar Jar's problems. Where he actually went in hiding and stopped acting for a while. Just he did some voiceover work, and that's it.
Yeah, he did do a cameo in episode 3. Was it? He was like one of the bar patrons, I think.
Yeah,
or something or episode 2. I forget now, but. Yeah. But yeah, as far as I still believe Jar Jar was meant to be a Sith Lord, but the blowback was so strong it killed the whole storyline. But I remember interviews with George Lucas where he talked about like the way Yoda was introduced. The very first time we see him, he seemed like this crazy hermit, and then he reveals himself to be this Jedi Master. And George likes to mirror things, and he talks about how the movies are like a song, just different verses, but they rhyme with each other. And he wanted to do something similar where Jar Jar, like a Sith Lord, would be revealed as this bumbling idiot, but then we later find out he's actually running everything. So I don't know. It only George knows if that's true or not. But even in interviews with Ahmed Best, he kept saying, "Just give it time. You will find there's so much more to Jar Jar you're going to learn about in the following movies." But then all of a sudden, all that got scrapped.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, and that's where I think the shame was, because it's like, I think George was wrong in listening too much to the people and should have just did his own story.
Well, I think he caved because the problem is there was all these at the time. George was getting a lot of accusations of being a racist because of the voice being used for Jar Jar, not realizing that Ahmed Best was a black actor, and he's the one that came up with the voice.
Right.
George gave him freedom to create the voice how he wanted, and that's what he created. But there was a lot of racism accusations at the time because of Jar Jar's voice. And I wonder if that kind of gave extra pressure to George to kind of back down, maybe. I don't know.
Probably did. And it's a shame because it's he's an alien that they were creating a dialect with,
Right.
and all of them had that kind of that weird dialect, just like Yoda talked weird. Of course, we come to learn from the Tales of the Jedi animated that not all of Yoda's creatures talked that way, because Yaddle talked pretty normal in that.
Yeah.
So
do you watch that comedian who does the deep fake of the Obi-Wan face, and he does the voices and he reviews like the Mandalorian and the different episodes?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's hilarious. And when he reviews the episode where from the animated series where Yaddle talks, Obi-Wan's like, wait a minute, they don't talk like that? Like, was Yoda putting us on this whole time? It was funny.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think it was just I think with the original trilogy, a lot of the stuff like we love between like Boba Fett, Yoda, stuff like that. These are all things that George kind of just, oh, this is kind of cool, whatever. Nobody's going to care in the long run, and then these become the more popular characters. Yoda is just ultra popular. He's like, oh, he's 900 years old. This is kind of cool, and then of course he becomes a central focal during the prequel series, of course, because he trained everybody, and the way he talked though, but they never have explained why he talked that way.
Right. Here, I got to show you at least a small clip of his name is Charlie Hopkinson. You got to see the way they do these. He does a great Qui-Gon impression, along with Obi-Wan. He also has Anakin a lot of times in these, and he deep fakes. He deep fakes the voice or the face. I'm sharing it. Hold on.
Okay.
Present, share. It's hilarious. At least I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, let's put that full screen. Okay, so in this particular one, let's back up. This is when Mando comes up to find Bo-Katan.
It's been like a week and she's still there. She's asleep on the chair. She's got a blanket now.
Let's get rid of him once and for all.
Mandalore has turned him into a tiny green child. I knew that curse was real.
Download the astromech, find out where they were.
Let's get rid of him once and for all. He's in danger. Ready my ship.
Oh, she just wants to see Din in the news.
That's why we're £20 a year for 4 Disney Plus. Oh, I came all this way to get rid of you once and for all.
I want to be left alone, Din. You weirdo.
Hit the nose. Hit the nose.
Don't try it, Anakin.
You underestimate my power.
Oh, Dan Ferrick. That's going to come out of our deposit.
Anyways, that's like he reviews like every episode and as Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and Anakin, and it's funny.
That's pretty funny. I like that.
But
probably
they'll
get
have
sued.
he has like 20-minute long reviews, all in character. But and he also does Lord of the Rings, so he does Gandalf and different characters from that too.
Oh, very cool.
It's
Very
pretty
cool.
funny. Charlie Hopkinson. So check him out.
Charlie Hopkinson. Yeah, I'll make
Yeah.
a note of that.
Yeah, he's on TikTok. He's on Facebook. He's on a couple different platforms.
Yep. Enjoy TikTok while we can. It's gonna be canceled here pretty soon. Government wants to ban it.
Yep.
So, well, yeah. So that was, so with the, we get the reveal of how Grogu escaped and how he was helped. Of course, we didn't see him die either, that Jedi. So we could see Ahmed Best back again.
Right.
I mean, we have the rule here: if you don't see him actually dead, then they could come back. So,
True. Just like Mace Windu.
Yeah, Mace Windu still.
Rumors are he's coming back. We'll
Yeah.
see.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. I mean, it's yeah, I think kind of interesting to see that, maybe if not in a full movie as so much as just in one of the series. Maybe we'll see him in Ahsoka or something like that.
Well, if you review what happened to him, he got his hand cut off. Well, we know Jedi survived that. He was hit with Force lightning. Luke survived that, and he was thrown out of a window from a high altitude. Well, we didn't see where he goes, and we've seen Jedi fall from high altitudes and land on moving vehicles or other things. So, or even use the Force to stop themselves before they hit the ground. So this is way more plausible that Mace survives than Darth Maul.
Very much.
And Darth Maul survived, so
yeah,
he was literally cut in half, and he still came back.
Well, and it's funny because you see all these stuff popping up, even more of articles, and people talking about George. They're like, "Hey, George, is he really dead?" He goes, "Oh yeah, he's dead. I cut him in half."
Yeah, he said, he goes, "I literally cut him in half so no one would question if he was still alive." And then here he is alive.
Yeah,
and now he's dead again.
Right.
And then there's always Force ghosts.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's that too, and that, but yeah. So like last week's Mandalorian episode, like I said, it was of the current season, it's my least favorite in terms of how they did a couple things, but I still enjoyed it a lot. I just think that taking like a day and a half to rescue the kid, I was like, no, that kid would have been bird food long before that.
Yeah, it would have made more sense just right away as the bird's taking them. They're like, our jetpacks, we never can catch up to the bird to begin with, because he admits, like, every time we chase them, our jetpacks run out of fuel. Okay, well, then don't even try it. You got someone with a ship, say, hey, we need your ship. Okay, get on board. Boom.
I was saying that would have been the thing. I thought they were like, get on the ship, and then when they're all falling, she would have gone after them. So
yeah, so that was the only negative part, as I felt it was clunky writing.
It was. I think Favreau just kind of wrote it. I don't think he was necessarily thinking it through on that aspect. He wanted to be able to tell the night story of, her questioning, like, well, how do you eat? How do you do this? With the helmet and stuff like that. So I think that's where a lot of that was just more to develop some exposition of, we just want to explain some things, and this is probably the best way to do it. And then then they'll go on from there for the rest of the season. So.
The other thing I understand from a logic standpoint is the Mandalorians are supposed to be like a very experienced warrior race, and they're on this planet with these giant animals. They don't have lookouts. Like, they don't have somebody like standing up like, hey, the giant bird is coming. It might be smart to have a lookout.
That's my thought too. And my other thought is, why aren't you guys on higher ground? I understand having your sleeping in a case, but you should be outside on higher ground, not in a lower valley where something dive bombs you can get you more,
or the thing comes out of the river and gets you.
Yeah,
like you're in the spot where everything can get you.
Yeah,
and you have no lookouts. Come on, your armor is good, but it's not that good.
Nope.
Oh, now there is a theory popping up regarding one of the foundlings. Let me see if I can find a photo. Mandalorian foundling. I don't remember what episode that was. Let's see if I can find the image. So there was a picture. Somebody did a screen grab of. So Grogu was fighting with the paint guns, the darts.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw some of the other foundlings. Anyways, one of them, I don't see a picture. They're all over Facebook. People are sharing it, though. The helmet is open on the backside, and under it you see like a cloth wrapping. And the theory people are developing is the Tuscan child that Boba Fett saves on Tatooine was taken in as a foundling, and the reason why the helmet is the way it is because to respect his culture, they're not making him take off his Tuscan mask, but they're putting this helmet over the Tuscan mask. So I thought that was an interesting theory. And if you look at that picture, thinking of it as a Tuscan child, I could see that wrapping being the backside of a Tuscan head.
Okay.
So we might find out that child is part of their clan or whatever. So I thought that was interesting.
And that's the whole thing is that a lot of, the foundlings are not actual Mandalorians by blood.
Right.
So I was trying to Google, see if I could see something. I don't really see anything on that.
Let's see. I might be able to find it on Facebook. That's where I've been seeing it mostly.
Okay, I hadn't seen anything yet, so
let's see if I type Tuscan foundling. Well, where is it? They also noted that in the credits, the actor who plays that foundling in this episode is the same actor who played the Tuscan child in the Boba Fett one. Now, if they knew the face was going to be covered, they could because they just needed someone small.
Yeah.
But the same actor is playing both. So I thought that was interesting. See all. Try one more search. Like all morning, I've been seeing this picture pop up, and now that I want to pull it up, I'm not seeing it anywhere.
See, I hadn't seen anything on that, so
yeah. Oh well. Oh wait, I commented on it. So if I look at my activity, there's a way to pull up your activity. Activity log. Here we go. Comments. Here we go. It worked.
Yay.
Okay, so share the screen. Okay, so in the lower side, when they were fighting, or when they were pulling those baby dragons off of the ship,
yeah,
this kid on the bottom that is circled, you see the helmet doesn't go around the full head, and the backside is this like beige cloth wrapping that's underneath the helmet. So they're speculating that is the Tuscan kid that Boba saved, and they must have maybe took him in as a foundling. So,
well, I like that. That's a neat little tie-in. So,
like, some people are commenting, like, "Oh, they couldn't afford to get him a full helmet and stuff." Well, obviously, everybody else on set has a full helmet, so there's a reason why they specifically made this.
You look at the helmet, though, you can see it's got the leather around the backside there,
right?
So it's tied into something else. I mean, each helmet is kind of unique in its own way. There's a lot of similarities, but there is some uniqueness to them. So.
Well, and that would tie into the Tuscans' culture. They use leather for the accents of their own masks and for their breathers that they wear on the face. So, anyways, I think that theory is going to be what this is about here.
Yeah.
I doubt they would go through the trouble of this, too, of designing a special helmet if it was going to be just a throwaway thing. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things where even if they don't fully get into it, it could definitely be something that they just want, the filmmakers like, hey, let's put this in there. It's kind of a cool little thing. And then it also sets up something for the future because they want to add to the storyline.
Right.
So we'll see. That'll be interesting. I like that. I did not notice that. That's cool.
Yeah, I didn't notice it either. I noticed it in the Facebook posts.
The only thing I see on Facebook lately is John Boyega is just so happy to be a Star Wars fan again instead of actually working on Star Wars. So that's the only thing he's popping up on my feeds. So it's like, good for you, buddy.
That's gotta be hard though, as an actor. because it's like working at a restaurant. You get a job at a restaurant and you see the back room, you might not like eating there anymore. So I'm sure if you're a fan of a franchise, there is a real risk of losing the magic once you become part of it.
And there is something to that. Say that there's people I know that worked at just Universal Studios that would say, "Oh yeah, well I don't see the magic anymore because I've seen it." And I think part of it is, once you know the tricks, you don't always see it. But I think same time it depends on how you feel. But I understood his thing. He really got. I mean, Ryan Johnson's one. He needs to. He blames JJ, which there is a little bit of blame there, but really needs to blame Ryan Johnson for writing his character all the way back to the beginning of Force Awakens in terms of how his attitude was, instead of making him the hero that he was supposed to be. So, for Ryan Johnson being ultra woke and left and all that stuff, he really screwed over, all the minority characters.
I agree. I think JJ at the end of Force Awakens had developed Finn to be a great potential character.
Well, and there was a lot of people that were speculating the Force Awakens, that he knows the Force in him. And I told people, I said, no, I still don't believe it wasn't Force Awakens. I knew there was something there, but I said, he's not going to be the one that's going to step up. That was always meant to be Rey. But I think, JJ brought it back around at the end of the third one. I think he would have definitely, by the third film, if they'd done stuff in the second film, then they could have elevated him more where actually he did. And then we would have had two people of Jedi powers that could have gone after Kylo and would have made a little bit more sense in some ways.
Right. For sure.
But we'll see how Filoni and Favreau continue to evolve the Star Wars universe, because I'm enjoying what they're doing. They're doing it right. And not much else of the Star Wars lately has been good otherwise. So, although there's that new Star Wars game that's supposed to be in canon too, as a sequel to the one. The
Survivor, Jedi Survivor, is it called?
Yeah, so it ties in more of that story aspect, things like that. They've hinted at even throughout the Bad Batch and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we'll see. I'm looking forward to. We got a few more. Actually, we got this week's episodes of the final two for Bad Batch for the season. So we'll talk about those next week. This week's Mandalorian I thought was really good, and definitely we're going to want to talk about that because that's setting up the last, I think, 2 or 3 episodes we have for Mandalorian. Mm-hmm. Season's almost over. It's hard to believe. I think today's was episode 5. There's 8 episodes, so we got 3 more to go.
All I'll say about today's Mandalorian is watch for a cameo of a character from the Rebels cartoon show.
Yes, and I
was very surprised by that cameo.
Well, they didn't say if it was actually him or just one of his species.
Correct, but I believe it was the same voice.
That's what I thought.
So that's all I'll say.
Well, I was hoping that was a nice tie-in to eventually something in Ahsoka.
That's what I'm thinking. But they did a good job. I was very happy to see that.
Yes, that was a nice surprise. I like that a lot.
Yes.
So definitely check that out. So anything else, Scott? We kind of covered everything.
We covered everything.
Lighter week this week. We're not going to rush over time or anything. So
no, I think we covered it all.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, hey, join us next week when we get into the 300s episodes. Episode 300. I don't believe 300 doesn't feel like it. Yeah. But I guess we do it week in, week out. Don't even think about it. We just kind of show up. Dungeons and Dragons opens this week. Have you seen the reviews on that? I'm waiting to see what real reviews say, because right now it's getting spectacular reviews, and I'm going, really?
I'm passing on it.
I'm waiting to see what some people actually post that I could trust a little bit.
If I go this week, I'll probably see John Wick 4.
That's what I want to see next. I'm hearing good things about that. And there's actually talk now about John Wick 5 because it's done so well. Yeah. So we'll see. I just want to see. But yeah, Dungeons and Dragons, I just didn't like the trailers, and people I've talked to, they're like, oh no, it just looks. But I think it's kind of like Avatar. It's like they're really trying to push this as the movie, and I don't know what their agenda is, but we'll see. So, oh well. Hey, we'll talk to you all next week. Have a great week, everybody. Bye.